hear that?
Made up movies, made up movies.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Made up movies, made up movies. Yeah, 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 yeah. Made up movies. Movies in your face now. Come and get an earful. Made up movies, made up movies. Hello and welcome to Made Up Movies. I'm your host, Matt Shore. With me as always is Mike Golar.
Hey, are you doing a vampire voice?
It's me, a vampiro. Yahoo!
Sort
Whoopee.
of all over the place, but I like it. I think it works.
Hey, this is a show where we are professional film critics. You send us in movies that don't actually exist, or maybe they do, because we use our amazing idea brains to take those movies and review them as if they actually did. So
Which they do.
They definitely do.
Yes.
They definitely do. Because we saw this week's movie. You might never have heard of it, but it definitely exists.
Yeah.
First things first, I wanted to take some time. We've been having a little bit of difficulty getting the show recorded. So I just wanted to take some time to schedule some stuff with you. If that was
right
okay.
now during the recording?
Yeah, the thing is, we've been having trouble scheduling, so I thought we might get some help from my friend. He's sort of like the god of scheduling, I guess.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, well, what's your friend's name?
Hello, I am Calendar, god of scheduling.
Oh, so he's just a big calendar, like Transformer thing.
Yes, he is half lion, half calendar, and he is the god of calendars and scheduling. Calendar!
Calendar? Is that what your name is?
That's correct.
Okay. Well,
I am
yes,
here to solve your scheduling problems. I will decide the next time you will record the podcast.
Okay, well, I'm good like Monday or Tuesday.
I can't do Mondays. I have a thing.
I can. The thing is, you're like kind of a big calendar.
Yeah,
so
well, this whole week is blocked off. I'm busy then. So just throw out some dates. Anytime that works for you.
all right,
Really,
well,
anything.
Monday or Tuesday. I guess I could do like a Thursday next
Oh,
week.
no, Thursday's no good. That's when I have lacrosse.
You play lacrosse?
Uh-huh. I'm really good. I hold one of the sticks.
Do you go to? You go to school? I don't understand.
This isn't about me. We're trying to help you with your schedule.
Are you
the
scheduling
podcast.
for you or for Matt?
No, but I'm.
Well, he's kind of scheduling for both of us, is the thing. I asked Calendar to come here.
Yeah,
Because he has a way, because he's the god of scheduling, he just sort of figures
well,
this
he
kind of
says
stuff
he
out.
is. He just sort of seems like a giant.
That's
robot
right.
block.
I do say that I am the god of scheduling. So come, Cola. Whatever works for you, we'll make it work.
Okay, well, I guess actually, in 2 weeks, I have a whole week of work off, so I could do any time.
Oh, I'm on vacation then. We're going to Tahiti.
You're going to Tahiti with Calendar, Matt?
Yeah, I am. I'm going to Tahiti with Calendar. We're going to braid each other's hair. I mean, I'm mostly going to braid his mane. But it's going to be really nice.
Yes, I'm very much looking forward to that.
Well, it doesn't seem like there's
I'm the god of scheduling.
right. You said
I
it
shall
doesn't.
decide. We will do the next episode in 3 months.
That's
There it
fine.
is.
Can you give me a date? Like in 3 months exact?
Ooh, let's just put a pin in that. I don't want to tie myself down in case something good is on NBC.
Okay. Well,
He
that
really
seems-
loves NBC.
I
is the
noticed
thing.
that it doesn't seem like a reason to cancel an obligation. You can record it or watch it on Hulu.
Listen, I would argue with him, but he is the...
God of scheduling.
All right. Well, I guess we can't record the show anymore. So where does that leave?
Can I hang out with you guys today? I'm free today.
Matt, can you not hang out with us today? I don't necessarily
Yeah,
think
Calendar, could you buzz off? I don't mean to be rude, but...
Hey, fuck you. I'm just trying to help.
Jeez.
I don't even like this show or movies. I prefer visual media, like oil paintings that are still.
All right, well, that's neither here nor
Calendar.
there. That's Calendar, everybody. You can applaud at home. He's leaving now. That's.
See ya. He's not. He wasn't
I'm sorry.
necessarily
I thought that would go a lot better.
helpful at all.
But yeah, I'm on his lacrosse team, so we're gonna have a regular conflict from now on.
Yeah, and about that, you just play for a school or something because you're in your
his daughter's school.
Okay,
She goes to Hudson.
Okay,
So
that's you're a 30 something year old man, and
neither of us have that exact number. That's the weird thing about us. But we should probably get back to the movie at hand.
Yeah, let's talk about movies, and we'll schedule things like we usually do.
We'll look at some oil paintings later with Calendar just to like balance things out. But so we have a suggestion for this week. It's a movie from our friends at the Suns and Shadows cast, which is another podcast, a friend of ours, friends of our pod, new friends. But they suggested a film. It's an 80s sort of like horror comedy, would you say?
Yeah, it's a horror. It's one of those horror comedies you hear so much about these days.
It's like a rock and roll 80s ripper called Zombie Guitar.
Zombie Guitar. Pretty cool.
Zombie Guitar.
Yeah.
So through the power of our amazing idea brains, we got the suggestion. We watched this movie just amazingly. And so we're going to review it for you now. So I guess let's go over sort of the basics. So like this movie's about a teen whose name is Curtis, right?
Curtis, yeah. He's a 16-year-old boy. He goes to high school.
He looks like he's played by like a 47-year-old man, though.
It's the classic teenagers being played by adults, like how you play lacrosse for a high school team.
It's really hard for me to focus on the movie when you bring up my relationship with Calendar. He's going through some stuff with his wife.
He has a wife?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's the god of financing for
sounds like
amusement parks, actually.
Quite a pair of people.
Well, they were until they split up because of somebody's drinking. And I don't want to.
That's why I can't schedule anything. That's why I can't schedule anything.
12-year-old daughter drinking. So,
but yeah, it's played by it's the
Curtis.
classic.
Let's get back to the film. So Curtis is actually he's a wannabe musician, and he can't get his life off the ground. He's sort of like, I don't know. He's like
he's not
like a pre-Kurt Cobain figure.
Yeah, he's not like super. He's not like the nerdy kid who like gets bullied or anything. He's just kind of like.
He's an outcast, but he's not like a dweeb.
Yeah, he's not a dweeb, exactly. He's
more of like a skater loser.
And he stays at home and listens to records, and that's that's his thing. He wants to be a rock star, but he doesn't want to practice because he's a rock star.
He's getting stoned all the time.
He's getting stoned. It's cool. Like all of us, we don't want to practice.
That sort of like sets it up. And so, like, of course, there's like a girl at school, Tanya, who he like really, really wants to get with. And she's notorious because she's a pretty fun character too, because she has like this she's a brunette and has this giant head of hair. Like almost like a Texas mom head of hair, big and frizzy.
It's the 80s, baby.
She's almost constantly chewing bubble gum and blowing bubbles. Yeah, she's like got leg warmers on, just like very 80s jean jacket, blue faded jean jacket. And big, just like gooey. It looks like she's wearing a necklace made of plastic Fruit Loops. Big hoop earrings, scrunchy, the whole nine.
The 80s was a wonderful time for
fashion, especially. Yeah, I mean, definitely. So Tanya, that's her name. Curtis is our main guy. Basically, Curtis wants to be a rock and roller. He like sort of, he has this like a dream. He has that classic thing where he like lives in the basement of his family's house.
Yeah, because he's cool.
It's sort of like his little apartment. It's like his like stoner pad, and he's a pothead, and he does have one friend though, right? His friend who's like even more of a knucklehead than he is.
Yeah, Ricky, who's like who's like a wisecracking, like he's always cracking wise, and it's like,
and Ricky is like would be his like bassist and buddy, right? Like,
yeah, well, that's what
they had a real band.
They're best friends because they like getting high and listening to music. I mean, that's why you're friends in high school, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so, basically, he and Ricky are like, they're a little bit of, I don't know, social outcasts. They're losers. They get made fun of by the jocks, but again, they're not super nerdy.
Yeah, it almost had like that. Like Dazed and Confused vibe, where it's like they were all kind of friends, and they weren't necessarily like It wasn't like where it's like, hey, I'm gonna beat you up for being a nerd. It's more like, hey, you're a stoner, you fucking moron. It's like Spicoli ordering pizza in class.
Yeah,
it's like this guy's a stupid.
So basically, what happens is there's one night like he's out of weed, and so he's like. His buddy Ricky is like, oh, I've got, like, I heard a rumor from some of the girls who smoke in the bathroom. It was the 80s, so it's a little bit sketch, but Ricky has a running gag where he hides in the girls' bathroom.
Well, no, he hides in the girls' bathroom. He tries to look at them while they're on the toilet, which is like, that's 80s, so it's like...
Right, but you'd think he would have picked the women's locker room.
Well, he's high. He's not smart. He's just not a smart guy. So it's like, but he gets caught a lot. He gets caught all the time.
A lot. To the point
and it's
where there's a later scene where Tanya's in there and she's like, better check the stalls to see if Ricky's in there.
Yeah.
Like, this is like a daily thing.
But they just sort of almost, boys will be boys. It's like, Ricky has a problem.
But again, it's like, what is he hoping to see?
He's got a fetish, man. He's got a weird little fetish.
But I mean, specifically of what? He wants to see them...
He wants to see ladies making bowel movements or something, I think. I mean, that's the reason he's... Why else would you be in the bathroom? Like you said, he could be in the locker room.
This tickles me, the way you said it. I was trying to push you to see how you would explain it. But ladies making bowel movements is like somehow the most clinical and also bizarre way to say it. I love it. So the ladies are making their BMs and Ricky can't get enough.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Which makes sense because this is skipping way ahead, but he decides later in the movie, like way later, after there's a lot of, again, there's some like creepy body horror-ish stuff in this, and so he decides at the end, because he gets so good at like reattaching limbs and stuff, that he's going to become a doctor and he's really going to take it seriously. So really his BM thing comes full circle.
Yeah, he's going to be a doctor. I didn't say a proctologist, but yeah, the idea was like he's learned his lesson. He's just curious about the human body.
He's curious about the human body. And if I'm being honest about my read on Ricky, it's that I don't think he's as much of a... I think he uses being a pervert as justification to find some alone time for himself in the women's bathroom.
So you're saying he hides in there and he's not necessarily looking at the women, he's just hiding there to find solitude.
I think he's depressed.
I don't know, but in every scene he is looking and going, oh yeah, that's a hot lady taking a BM.
Right, but I think there's a little bit of an act, because like later in the movie,
it's put on. His sexual proclivities are put on. They're not necessarily.
I think most of what he is and does is an act, because he's trying so hard to be defined as something in the school community. Everyone else has clear roles. There's like the jock dude who's always ripping on Curtis. Yeah. But Ricky, because he's shittier than Curtis, is sort of just like has even less of an identity. So it's like if shit slides downhill, Ricky's really gonna get it left and right.
If shit slides downhill, Ricky's gonna watch it and probably jack off to it. Is what what I got.
I don't think that's what we're saying. I don't think.
We saw two different things then, but maybe you're right. I don't know. I think you're reading into the characters.
I'm just saying. I think that if I would not be surprised if he was like pretending to be Quagmire a little bit,
That might
so
that's
he could
okay. That's
so he
like
could
he's
go into
making
the
it
stalls and
yeah.
just sort of crying for a little bit. Like he doesn't. This is before Twitter. He doesn't have an outlet for this stuff.
It's
He
like
just,
one of those
goes
things where
in
he
there
got
and
caught
cries.
doing it once, and like that's his nickname now or something, right? It's like
Right. He was in there crying because he doesn't know who he is. Like he has
Yeah.
a deeper problem.
he's got a lot of problems.
He's got a problem. His identity, his lack of identity in a world of clearly defined 80s stereotypes
Yeah.
is destroying him.
Yeah, he
eating
was-
him from the inside like a sandworm in Dune. And he was weeping, and at some point, this is my headcanon for this movie, Tanya walked in and is like, "Hey, are you okay in there? I think a girl is crying in there." And he's like, "I'm not a girl." And then they're like, "Ricky, what are you
Yeah.
doing in here? Are you crying?" He's like, no, I was just trying to look at some panties." And they're like,
Yeah.
"Ew, Ricky, get out of here." And so then he finds his identity as the perv because, it's like,
I
That's-
all right, I get what you're saying. Because he, like you said, he's not like a stereotype.
I want to be clear, none of this is in the movie. This is
No,
all
I know you're
what I
you're
believe.
reading into it all. You're reading into the character a lot.
This is what I
based on
believe
the-
about Ricky.
The screen time, yeah.
When I perform the role of Ricky on Broadway, or more likely direct this movie as a Broadway adaptation, and Josh Gad, who gets all my parts, takes this role,
You're gonna be directing Josh Gad as Ricky, the scatological.
I mean, that's my.
wunderkind?
It's like that's my like runner-up dream for where I'm at 10 years from now.
All right. Well, can we talk about what's? Can we talk about the plot of the movie? That's
So the
not
movie's called
based
Zombie
on-
Guitar. Basically, he gets Ricky's like they're hanging out one night. They're talking about their band and they're just like noodling on their guitars.
Oh
but
yeah,
they
and he
both kinda
says
suck.
he said that I was in the bathroom. The girl said you can get some good weed at the graveyard from
exactly. And so
some
he's like, "There's a
weird
patch
guy.
that's growing. It's growing like way out there.
Yeah.
some weird guy has been planting it. It's where he grows it. No one goes over there because it's too fucking creepy, man."
Yeah.
And so, Curtis is like, "All right, I guess I'll go check it out." He's like, "You're really gonna go?" He's like, "Yeah. Why
Wanna
wouldn't
get
I
high.
go?"
Yeah.
It's like,
Come on.
because that's the same graveyard where the old rock and roller legend. There's like a dude in town who's like, basically who owned the zombie guitar, who died.
Yeah. Spiff
right?
Spiffly. Spiff Spiffly.
Yeah, that's the name of his. That's not his. I don't think it's his birth name. It's
No. Spiff Spiffly is the name of his band and his.
it's his rock and roll. It's his Ziggy Stardust persona.
Yeah.
So Spiff Spiffly, and so basically, there's some story that's like an elaborate story of how Spiff Spiffly died, where like lightning struck the venue while he was playing, and
Yeah.
he was touching an amp and got electrocuted or some shit like that. And
Well, he
so
kept
he's-
playing. The venue's like, you got to stop playing. He's like, I'll never stop a rockin', man. And then he kept playing.
Well, yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. I mean, that's just good musicianship right there. There's
Well, no,
people
there was a
paid.
lightning storm, and he said, you could die. And he said, I don't care. I'm going to keep a rockin'.
Right. Yeah, he says basically, there's like, I'm just questioning how shitty this venue is that they don't have proper insulation. That a lightning storm can-
or electrical. It's not wired correctly.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess that checks out for any of these wherever Spiff Spiffly would fucking play. But so lightning hits the thing, it travels, creates a short circuit or something, goes through the amp, and it somehow like fuses his soul with the guitar, so that the music, even though he's like gyrating and like just like his hair's sticking up on stage, he gets fused with the guitar. We see this in like a little mini flashback, or I don't even know if it's
It
a
was like a
flashback.
weird, like, Stand By Me storytelling flashback by Ricky, where he's
right,
like...
right. Ricky's telling the story, but it's not clear that that's what actually happened or what Ricky thinks is what happened.
And
right?
and as you know what Ricky thinks, so do you think that's what Ricky thinks
Well,
happened?
let me put on my therapist's cap for a second and really delve into that meaty gray matter that I like to call the psyche.
Of Ricky?
And Ricky is, let's see, Ricky had a weird encounter with an older gentleman on
What?
when he was 6 years old. He was on the playground, and an old gentleman with a very large, cartoonishly large lollipop came up to him, and he's like, "Hey, you want to see some really naughty magazines?" And Ricky went with him to the woods where they proceeded to look at the magazines until he heard his mom shrieking, and she grabbed him. And whenever he brings it up, she still won't talk about it because she knows that was the day he could have died.
And if that happened, why didn't they put that in the movie? I guess is my question.
It's a little too dark for the movie. This is all just stuff that the actor who played Ricky put on his
portraying
blog.
in his portrayal of Ricky. Okay. That's what.
I wanted to think about a little actor known as the Joker. Okay, I know this always comes up, but when Joaquin Phoenix portrays the Joker, or rather, the spirit of the Joker portrays itself through the vessel known as Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
He comes up with all sorts of stuff that even a fucking mental case like Jeremy Strong wouldn't even begin to imagine. Okay?
Well, yeah, okay, fine. So yeah, Ricky then, I guess, is deeply disturbed because of childhood trauma.
So he gets off on creating these sort of like over-the-top stories.
Yeah, he's a story
to freak out his friend. But this actually did happen. What I'm saying is that flashback seemed even more heightened than most of the crazy shit that literally happens in this movie. Although not that much. This has sort of like a weird Bill and Ted like practical effects overtone. So it's like kind of low budget fun in a way. I like practical effects in that way. But like Curtis goes to the graveyard, he finds a weed plant, and while he's out there, it starts to rain, right? And like, oh, that's the thing is that Ricky's like, hey, then, but you shouldn't go tonight though, man, because it's been exactly 13 years.
13 years exactly. That's what happens.
And it's like, yeah, whatever, asshole. And so he goes. It starts raining, and basically there's like a little mausoleum type thing with an arch.
He has to take shelter in the mausoleum,
and he's like he's like trying to quickly roll a J with this stuff, and he's about to smoke it, and then lightning strikes the grave. Oh, because there's someone who's like a Spiffly fan has put a little replica like tribute thing up there for him, like with a lot of like, I don't know, it's like a little like fake guitar with like pictures of him and his band on it, and it like acts as a lightning rod, gets struck, and from the grave in this like the guitar, Spiffly's zombie guitar, rises from the grave.
Yeah.
And this thing is gnarly looking. It's like, it looks like, it doesn't look like a regular guitar. It's like, it's like,
it looks like the Book of the Dead kind of.
Yes, yes, exactly. Yeah. It looks like the Necronomicon. It looks like it's got teeth in it and stitching. It's like Frankenstein's flesh as a guitar. Yeah. And throughout this movie, it also has like a little bit of a mouth, like where the, I don't know what that hole in the guitar is called, but like that thing is
like where the guitar can. The frets. Guitar, it's where you strum. Yeah.
Where the acoustics come through. I don't know,
the
man.
The acoustic hole.
The guitar hole. It's the guitar hole. So it can talk. It can emanate the ghastly voice of Spiffly, who can sing in harmony with Curtis. It also seems like Curtis, the actor playing him, who, like we said, looks 47 and looks like a modern day, not 80s. What's his name from Tremors? Kevin Bacon. He looks like Kevin Bacon.
I thought for a minute, I was like, oh, that's a young Kevin Bacon. But it's like, no, Kevin Bacon.
I thought it was an older Kevin Bacon. I thought it was like...
he doesn't age. He's a man who doesn't age.
Yeah, he's just... So...
Yeah, the guitar rises from the ground, and
Curtis is like, what the hell? What's going on? He like falls on his ass, And
then then it lights his joint for him, and he goes,
yeah, exactly.
Oh.
The end of it, the
Okay.
guitar, like, in the air. It's almost like the ghost of Spiff is, like, walking it over to him as it sort of walks by itself. Almost like it's jangling on cowboy spurs.
They look like they put, like, it looked like they marionetted the guitar at some point. They attached it to, like, 4 strings or something.
Yeah, exactly. And just sort of, like, had, a guy who's fired from Jim Henson Company come over.
Yeah.
Sort of walk it over. It's time for Woody's Roundup. And so the guitar, the neck leans towards him, and he's still got the J in his mouth, and the guitar is like need a light, and then it shoots like a flamethrower out, and his eyes bug out, and it's like, it lights the joint, and he looks like his eyebrows are singed. He's like smoldering a little bit. He's like, "What are you?" He's like, "I think you know what I am. I'm the zombie guitar." And then he just starts fucking playing and starts singing some song, and like, that's when there's like this musical sequence. It's like a song called "I'm Back from the Dead," and it's like puppets of skeletons from the graveyard start
Very strange. Yeah.
like coming out of the graves and like singing along. He's back from the dead. He's back from the dead.
Very strange. Yeah.
And it's like 80s hair metal, and they're all getting into it. And then
then you're like, is this a musical for a second?
It kind of is.
It kind of is.
And
yeah.
it kind of is, because like they play at least 3 or 4 songs in it. But I mean,
I know, but they
most of
use
them
that
aren't
one
done.
song a lot.
Yeah, they do use "I'm Back from the Dead" a lot. They play it in the beginning, and it's like their sort of like battle of the bands. It's not a real battle of the bands. It's like a big what do you call it? It's a show at prom or whatever. But like, it's pretty sick, and I liked all the weird, creepy puppets.
It was weird. It came out of nowhere too. You're like, okay, this is fun.
So basically, the guitar keeps coming closer and closer to him as he's like trying to crawl away from it. And it's like, "Now, little boy, I belong to you."
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, he wakes up the next morning. He's like, oh, it's like bright out. He's like, oh, what a weird dream. And he pulls the sheets off the bed, and the guitar is in bed with him.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Well, it's that thing where it's like, it's sort of like attached to him. It's like attached to him on the right hand, isn't it? Where it's like, it's almost Cronenberg to him.
yeah, well, that's the thing, is that like he's got like this, it's like this, a part of the strap has like fused to his flesh.
Yeah.
So he literally can't take it off. So he has to pretend he's wearing it all day. And that makes people take an interest in him, even though he's trying to keep somehow a low profile with it.
Well, that
He's
day
like,
it looks like a normal Stratocaster, but
oh, right. And yeah, it also seems like there's 2 versions of the guitar. There's like the really articulate one that can like puppet and move, and then there's just like a straight up plastic one that kind of looks like it. And they just sort of like ADR the guitar's voice in. They're like, "Hey, how you doing?" But he's like facing away from it, so it's like you can't see it move and shit. That's standard definition for you. You get away with that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So
they can't see it.
Yeah, he's in bed with the guitar, and somehow Ricky's like climbed up the trellis. He's like, "Hey dude, what's up? You alright?" And he's like, "Ah, look at this thing." He's like, "Sick, you got a new axe, man." It's like, and then he try to pull it off his body, but he can't.
And he goes, "Hey, let go of me!" And the guitar's the only talks to Ricky and him, it seems like.
Yeah, right. Like it sings in front of other people like it's some sort of party trick, but like it won't have real conversations.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, they keep trying to take his neck. He's like, "Hey, don't rub me the wrong way, baby." It's like some sort of like Joe Camel, like Chester the Cheetah guitar.
Yeah. It's some sort of anamorphic. It was very, very anamorphic guitar. Who's just the coolest guy in the world. It's the soul of Spiff Spiffley, which we find.
It's the soul of Spiff Spiffley, who there was, based on what we saw about him in that weird flashback, was not that cool. Not really that cool.
Nah, he sort of just died, and that was it. Yeah,
I don't think the voice is the same guy as the actor in the thing.
It's almost like the legend of Spiff Spiffley is cooler than the actual guy was.
Yeah, and it's like the power of the lightning took the rocker and his soul and created this zombie guitar. Yeah. And so the thing is that like what's really fucked up about this movie is that the zombie guitar, like a true zombie, does need to eat people in order to have the power of rock. Because
it becomes apparent very quickly that this guitar needs blood or flesh.
Because what happens is he takes it to school because he can't get it off, and the teacher's like, "Can you put that away, please?" Yeah. And he's like, "I wish I could, but I need to practice. You know, I got to practice my fingering." And all the girls start to laugh at him. He's like, "What? I do need to practice my fingering." And she's like, "Stop saying fingering, okay?
Yeah.
Just please." And he's like, "What?" He doesn't get it. Curtis is a little innocent, I guess. And he's in the lunchroom and in the cafeteria. He's in the caf. That's what we used to call it.
Yeah, we call it caf. That's what they called in the 80s.
That's what they called in the 80s, the caf. And so he's in the caf, and people are throwing shit at him, and they're like, "Hey, aren't you going to play, Mr. Guitar Man? Yeah, I should play that
you walk around with a guitar, you should play something. What are you doing?"
And so, even though he doesn't have an amp, and it's clearly an electric, but whatever.
But then it's like, why are you walking around with he's just trying to be a cool guy.
Exactly.
Almost.
It's for my fingering, and everyone's laughing. But like the same jock guy is over there sitting at the cool table with
Chad.
Tanya. Yeah, Chad? You said his name was? I didn't check.
No, I don't think it's actually Chad. He's just a Chad.
He's just a total Chad. So yeah, we'll call him Chad for the safety's sake. So total Chad, that's his full name. And he is
bully. I'm looking at it. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Let's IMDb that. We should always IMDb this stuff. And you can IMDb along at home. You might not find this movie, but it's very real. Just because Sons and Shadows cast suggested it, and it seems like there are parts of this that we don't quite remember all the time. It's a real movie. We're really reviewing it. We watched it. Don't you worry about it. I don't know why I'm buying you time to IMDb this. I'm really committing.
I'm finding it. Keep talking. I'm sorry. I was still looking it up.
All right. So anyway, so Tanya's there, and she looks like she might be actually kind of interested to see him play something. And he's a little nervous, but he's like, "Oh, you guys," Curtis is like, "You guys want to see me play, right?
Yeah.
You want to see it? Well, check this out." And he like strums it like it's going to play, and nothing happens. And he's like, "What? I mean, one sec." And nothing happens. And he's like, "Hey, come on, man."
It's the whole Warner Brothers frog situation is happening to him.
Yes. He's like, "You're making me look like an asshole." And he's yelling at his guitar. And they're like, "You're doing a pretty good job yourself." And so he runs into a classroom with the guitar. And Ricky follows him. And he's like, "That was so cool."
It's Ross. Sorry.
It's Ross? Oh, okay.
Ross.
So Ross is the jock. And so basically, he's in they run to this classroom, and he's like trying to yell at Spiff, the guitar. He's like, "What the hell, man? You look like an asshole in there." And he's like, "Food, hungry."
He's too weak.
Energy.
He's too weak to play because he's starving. Yeah.
Daylight, no rock and roll during the day.
Yeah, he has all these rules that are like for other creatures. Like vampires can't. That's vampires.
Don't get me wet after midnight. Only at full moon in Transylvania.
You gotta kill me with a silver bullet. What do you mean, Spiff?
Take me back to the swamp where I was born.
How many horror monsters are
Black
you?
Lagoon. I need skin for my face.
But he does actually need.
I can only play in dreams.
Yeah, that's what, he can only play Weezer songs, and Weezer doesn't exist yet.
That's not what I meant, but that's even better. I only know songs from Blue Album and the B-sides, and Pinkerton. Everything after that is dead to me.
It's the 80s. We don't know what that is yet.
You don't know it, but your kids are gonna love it. Hey, this is your cousin. Marvin Spiffley. You know that undead sound you've been looking for? Well, listen to this.
Only in dreams.
Reach out and touch.
That's
the whole movie. Right there. Oh, no, wait, that was just Only in Dreams. So they're like, "What? How are we gonna? What do you eat?" And so they start. There's a montage where they sneak into the kitchen and they're trying to feed it like pizza and stuff, but it keeps spitting it out. What else you got? Really played
That's not
for
good.
laughs.
Fresh. Need fresher.
Milk. I need milk from titties. That's what it says. And he's like, "We're not letting you eat titty milk. I want to bite a titty," is what it says.
Yeah.
I might be making that up. Or
You're
it might
making
have been
that
a dream I had.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically they realize that they need to feed this thing something like living, or
Right.
or someone dead. So they Curtis's mom is a nurse and she works at the hospital, and so they go to visit his mom at the hospital, and they're like trying to float trying to subtly but not so subtly be like, so anyone die recently?
Yeah, it's very like kind of dark. It's like, why would you, are you coming to visit me to see dead people, son? Like,
Yeah,
she's like
so
not having
busy.
it. Yeah.
She's like, what? Just get out of here, you knuckleheads. And that's when they see. It's actually really. I thought it was funny in the moment in the movie, but now I'm starting to realize it's not great. So they see a cooler that has like an organ in it, like a heart for transplant.
Yeah, they he eats a heart transplant for somebody who needs it.
He needs it.
Yeah.
But they sort of, or they make it like, they show the guy and he's like a big fat, I don't know why he has to be fat and bald. It's felt like a
Why else would he need a heart?
And so he's smoking a cigar in the hospital bed, and he's like, money, money, money. I have to get back. I have to get back to business. And it's like, ugh, an old,
it's the
fat,
80s.
Businessman. More cocaine for me and my new heart.
That's why his heart's so bad.
It's the 80s. Powder.
Yep.
And so they steal that guy's heart, and they go into a bathroom, and while they're in the bathroom, they of course are in the women's bathroom, and Ricky's like, wow, this one's a lot different.
Yeah.
And he's like,
he
what
just
do you mean?
he's taking his time to observe everything around it.
He's just stealing
even
tampons
smells
and
different. It
potpourri
even
and
smells
stuff.
different. Yeah, Ricky's a weird kid, dude. I know you think he's misunderstood, but I think he's just a little creep.
I don't think he's misunderstood. I think he is misunderstood in a way. Yeah,
that's what I just said. Yeah.
Yeah. I do think he's misunderstood.
No, he's not. I'm saying he's just a little creepo.
No, I agree with you. He definitely is. He's like the Joker. He's just like a little.
Okay.
He might seem weird, but really, he's a good dad.
But anyway, they're in the ladies' bathroom and they feed.
I'm sorry I got us off track with stupid shit I was saying. Anyway, they're in the women's bathroom at the hospital, feeding the zombie guitar a human heart that was meant for a fat businessman. All right.
Yeah.
Now we're back on the
him,
stuff that makes sense.
And that causes Spiffly to fucking rock out. He changes.
And they're like, quiet, dude.
Quiet down. We're in the bathroom. I'm trying to look through the holes.
What are you looking at? I don't know. It's some old lady getting an IV. That's not sexy. Stop looking at that. I don't know. It's interesting.
I can't stop looking. I'm Ricky.
Hey, that's when he stops and he looks at them both and he's like, hey, I think I might want to be a doctor. They're like, that's beside the point. Let's get out of here. And so they're like running through the halls of the hospital.
But he can't stop rocking. They're rocking so hard.
Stop rocking. And they accidentally run into a ward full of like, it's like it says ear damage wing on it, and then they're just loudly playing through all these people with ear damage.
They're quiet. They all have ear damage.
My new ears put in. Oh no!
Yeah, it's very wacky and very, very stupid.
And yeah, smoke starts coming out of an old lady's hearing aid, and the mom's like, "Get out! You're gonna be grounded."
She's like,
and he's like, "I can't stop the rock.
Can't stop it."
And so they're basically. Curtis has, they found like a jacket or something in one of their cars, I guess, and they stuffed it into Spiffly's mouth.
Yeah.
And they're like, he's like, I've got a rock. And they're like, we got to do something. He's like, gig, I need a gig.
He needs flesh, he needs human hearts, and he needs gigs.
And so they're like, well, but we don't have a full band. It's like, yeah, we do, man. And they're like, okay, I guess. And so they decide that they're going to try to get a gig at like an open mic, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
Ricky's like, holy shit, dude, that actually is I know he was making ear people's damaged hearing's worse, but it's actually like a really
ear
good
people's
song.
Damaged hearing? Now here's the Joker with your crazy speech. It's so
Sorry, I couldn't hear what I was saying. I'm saying Ricky realizes that it's
Because of
actually
your ear people's damage.
ear people damage.
I am Calendar, and I approve that joke.
Counter, get the
I've been
fuck
here.
out of here! Just because I
What?
misspoke, you don't have to. You don't have to
I have
come in
nothing
here.
going on right now. It's my only free night. Hey, I didn't say you could record now, by the way.
You're not in charge of. You're the Lord of scheduling.
Calendar,
You're
I
not, you
thought
don't-
I asked you to leave. This is really uncomfortable.
Well, screw you. I have to go pick up my daughter from her AA meeting. Bye.
It's how old is his daughter?
12.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, it's not a good family, but his wife is very attractive.
Really?
She's single.
Huh? What?
I know you're engaged, but
Well. Boy,
I just
Sorry,
worry
Calendar.
about, like,
got me all messed up.
his daughter has a vlog, and I watch it.
Is
and
it sad? It sounds like it's sad.
She uses a lot of Instagram filters, so it seems happy, but it betrays an inner darkness. It's sort of like Ricky.
Yeah.
You can just
well,
see it in the eyes. Anyway, back to what really happened in the movie. Calendar.
Ears people's damaged got, and that is
That's
hurt them.
okay. There's no reason to make fun of the way I talk. That's a little.
That
rude.
was me. That was me talking. That's how I
Oh,
talk.
then it's appropriate.
like
Right, I
a stupid. Like I'm stupid.
Okay, so they get a gig, right? That's where we left off.
Well, yeah. Ricky said like, well, I can play bass. We just need a drummer. So they go to
Right.
fucking. They just need a drummer. So they ask who else would they ask? But Curtis's crush, Tanya.
Right. That's right, because she played the drums in marching band.
Yeah.
And so
well,
they're like-
she plays like a snare drum. It's like that's fine. That's a drum.
Yeah, we don't really need anyone. We just need to play a gig tonight.
Yeah, you need spiff. All you need is spiff spiffly, and you're fine because you're so
Which
good.
I thought was actually a kind of cool choice, just in the way these movies work. Because normally Tanya would be relegated to like just sitting in the audience, but she
Yeah.
actually gets to rock with them,
Yeah.
and like becomes like a real member of the band, so to speak, which is really cool.
Are you saying she shouldn't be a member of the band because she's a woman? I don't understand.
I'm saying, like, in 80s movies, she would just be, like, sitting there watching them, most of them. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Whereas,
Yeah.
whereas in this one, she actually gets to be a character with agency who has the fun.
She's
instead
not
of
just
like,
there talking about spiff spiffly to about how big his
yeah,
dick is.
to Chad or Chaz or what did you say, Ross?
Ross.
So, yeah, she actually gets to rock, and it's like, but that's kind of a funny moment because he's like, wait, I think I know someone who can drum. Ricky says, and he's like, okay, great, and then they're like, yeah, but where are we gonna play? And the guitar is like, don't worry, leave all details to me. Just put me on the phone.
Yeah, that's very fun.
And so they call the venue and they put Spiff up, and he changes his voice to a more human voice. He's like, hey, it's me, Spiff. Yeah, I'm feeling better now, and I was wondering if I could call you back on that favor and get a gig.
Spiff, I
again."
thought you died 10 years ago, man.
Hey, me too. That's what the 70s will do to you. And they're like, okay. And so they get this gig at the same venue where he died.
Right. But he's a
they're like-
legend, so it's kind of crazy. Everybody's like, Spiff, do you hear Spiff Spiffly's back?
Right. And so, like, they think that it's just going to be like a little opener gig because it's the first time they've played. But the crowd's really packed because they hear that Spiff is back.
Yeah.
And so, basically, they go do this gig, and when they get there, Curtis finds out that Tanya's the drummer that Ricky called. And then they have like a little bit of like romantic, like, oh, well,
I didn't know you played. I didn't know you played drums. What do you
yeah,
guys
in
idea?
marching band, but Ricky said you were really hard up. I mean, not hard up in that way, or whatever. And they're like, no, that's not. Whoa, get a room, you two. Whoa, does that thing talk? Yeah, it's like ventriloquism, you know?
Yeah, he says it's like ventriloquism. It's like,
Wait,
why
so
didn't
you
make
said that?
You said that,
That's
yeah.
weird. No, I mean it's a voice box. Or guys, why don't you two get a room? What? No. It's a little confusing.
It makes the situation with Tanya much worse, which is fun.
It's more confusing when I do all the voices because then it's like who's talking.
Well,
it's not like you can see to distinguish it.
Yeah, I didn't really get that either.
Are you
Who was
fucking
talking
kidding
when?
me, dude? Get the fuck out.
I left my toothpick. Has anyone seen it? Everyone look around your chairs.
Do you
right
just have
now.
a toothpick? Are you just a guy who has a toothpick in his mouth? Is that what you do?
Yes. I need to clean my teethies.
All right, Calendar, I'm going to have to say this is your last time on the show.
Yeah, I don't think if you can make him not come back ever again.
Unless he's a fan favorite, in which case, tweet at us right now with Calendar's
hashtag Calendar. How's that spelled?
I think it's just calendar with 2 R's at this point. I mean, let's not go crazy. Anyway, so they're basically like, we haven't practiced though. What are we even gonna play? And the guitarist like, leave everything to me. And so they're like, okay, I guess. And so they end up playing this gig, and he plays a different song than the first one, but it's the same basic.
It sounds pretty much the same, but yeah,
they all sound like 80s hair metal with like goblins and ghoulies and like death and stuff like that. And the crowd's loving it. And Ricky and Curtis are like, I can't believe this is working. Oh, whatever. And they get into it.
Yeah.
And it just feels like the magic of the zombie guitar is like infusing in the band and making them amazing.
Yeah.
And so they play this great gig, but as the music culminates, we cut back to the graveyard where all this was or where this first took place, where he emerged, and we see another skeletal hand claw out of the grave.
Yep.
And so they get they're out after the gig, and Tanya and Curtis are talking like, wow, this was a lot of fun. Are we ever going to play again? He's like, probably. I mean, it's like, I have trouble, letting go of this thing. So,
whoa, get a room, you two.
Stop saying that, me. I mean, damn it. So he, basically, they're flirting, and, then they look across the parking lot and they see these like creepy hooded figures that look sort of like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's weird. You know what they look like? They look like the ring wraiths a little bit.
A little bit. 1980s ring wraiths.
Yeah, like just dudes standing in a parking lot in hoods. Yeah. Not like cool like the ring wraiths.
No, they're not cool.
So it turns out that basically when they get back home, the guitar reveals that he made some dark deals, sort of not unlike Hometown Halloween, but there's like some people that he owes like undead money to, basically.
Well, yeah, when you're in hell, you make deals with some very unsavory people, and they're, you gotta pay up eventually.
I was only supposed to come back for one night, but I don't want to go back.
Yeah. He wants to stay in the world of rock and roll, and they're trying to take him back, essentially.
Right. And so, at this point, Curtis doesn't want him to go back either, because he's like,
about to get laid.
Yeah, he's about to finally fall in love. And so, he, suddenly, these ghoulies, these, like, undead, like, Reaper dudes, break into his house, and it becomes like a chase. He goes to find Ricky, and they go on a car chase while these dudes, you'd think they would again have horses like the ring wraiths, but instead they're also just driving in a car that they stole.
Yeah, they stole a car.
Like 80s muscle cars.
They look, they look like the Ghost of Christmas future.
Yes, but again, not even as cool as the Muppet movie.
Not as cool as the Muppet.
So it culminates in this car chase where they're going around like a cliff, and the ghost guys are on their tail and trying to ram them off this cliff. It's like a dead man's curve.
Yeah.
And like then Spiff is like, I'm gonna put all my power into one blast. And it's really killing me to do Spiff's voice. I'm going to stop doing it.
I'll do it if you want. I'll put all your power into one blast.
And so he blasts them, and their car flies off the cliff
Yeah.
And you think, oh, they're dead, but they're not really dead. They're just dead for now.
Right.
And so
they're just delayed.
Things seem like they're going well, and it seems like everything's great, but they need to find more like medical waste from the hospital.
Right. They go back to the hospital again, and they ask him, and they ask his mom again, where is the dumpster for the morgue? Like, they don't. First of all, they don't throw dead bodies away. That's not what happens. But in this world, they do, and they find like body parts in the dumpster, and
just so it can like eat a foot cartoonishly.
Yeah, it's very funny.
So basically, they decide. Tanya comes and she's like, "Hey, I got good news. We're gonna play the." I got us another gig to play. She's excited because she actually wants to spend more time with them and likes doing this band thing. And it's like, I got us a gig to play the dance. And they're like, what? Really? That's great. But they're all a little worried because they think playing another gig is definitely going to attract these dudes. He's like, no, they're probably gone for good. But it seems like the guitar is a little bit uneasy about that.
Yeah, they're probably gone for good. I don't know. You know how things are these days.
How is it smoking a cigarette? And that's one of the best gags of the movie for me, is when the guitar is smoking a joint and then somehow the smoke comes out of Curtis's mouth.
It's fun. Wow. I mean, there's some fun practical effects. I love puppets.
So they go to the dance, basically. Well, first Curtis is like, well, I don't even know if I was gonna go to the dance. And she's like, oh, you weren't? He's like, well, I don't really have anyone to go with.
Just shucks in it.
Yeah. And Ricky's like, I'll go with you, dude. And it's like, no, shut the fuck up.
That's fine. I'm going to spend most of my time.
Go back to the women's bathroom where you trolls belong.
That's where I was going to be anyways, in the women's bathroom.
And so he asks her, he's like, well, would you like to go? She's like, yeah, of course I would. This is gonna rock. I mean, we're gonna go together for the gig anyway, right? This will be sick.
Yeah, and afterwards we're gonna go all the way.
Oh, Curtis, your ventriloquism trick is so sexy.
And she actually likes it. That's what's so funny. He's like, that dirty joke which should have offended her. She's into it. So it's like,
yeah, it's because the puppeteering work is so stellar in this movie.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
So they go and they're about to play the gig when they find out the guitar is starving, and they're like, don't we have any leftover hands or spleens we could feed it? And they're like, no, we're all out.
I need something stronger, something alive.
And then a cat walks by and it's like, and they're like, no, don't do it.
No, that's fine. I don't want pussy.
And so they see like a nerdy kid who's like on crutches and looking weak.
Which because I was like, oh, they're gonna feed it Ross, right? No, they go for a weaker.
No, yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
They see this kid and he's like,
he's an asthmatic and on crutches.
He's like, I'm not doing so hot. And the guitar just really wants to eat him because he's like the weak one from the herd.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh, okay, we'll feed him just this guy, just to get through this gig. It's like he's really making a deal with the devil now. And so they trick this kid into going into the room because they're like, we got some real dirty magazines from this old guy that Ricky met in the woods when he was 6. That's the implication.
That's not the implication.
That's what I thought it was. When you say dirty magazines, I mean, how could it not be the same?
Okay.
So they bring him into this room and they're like, yeah, we'll show you some pornos. And then they beat him over the head with like a textbook.
They essentially, I guess, commit murder, I guess is what I would call it.
No, well, they're about to, basically. Yeah. He's unconscious, and the guitar starts to like gnaw on the cast a little bit. He's like, this is good. This is like the wrapping paper. And that's when Tanya's like, hey, I've been looking everywhere for you, and sees the guitar eating the guy's
What
leg.
are you doing?
She's like, what the hell? I thought it was just a bit. What are you doing?
It's like, Tanya,
like, it's
we
not
need
a bit,
it to
baby.
rock.
I'm real.
Yeah.
And they go chasing after her, and Curtis and her have a conversation, but it keeps getting ruined by the guitar. So she storms out and is like, I can't believe you would do something so creepy. You're using it. You're not even a real musician. You're just, you lied to me. And like, it's just, she's so freaked out by it. And so he doesn't know what to do. They're supposed to go up on stage. But yeah, they can't. And so like Ross decides he's gonna go up on stage and like sing karaoke.
He's gonna save the day. He's like, well, if your stupid band's not gonna play, I'll just sing a song.
Yeah, and so he and some of the other jocks get up there and they just start using,
people love it because they're jocks. So it's like, these guys are cool guys.
They start doing like a hip hop dance routine, and they like someone like puts a beat on a boombox and they all just start dancing.
People are into it though.
And so our heroes go outside and they're like, I can't believe, this went so far awry. This sucks so bad. And that's when the scythe of one of the Reaper guys comes in and almost slices his head off. And they're like, oh shit, what are we going to do? And so the guitar has this confrontation. The guitar has a full conversation with the Reaper guys, and he's like, you have to go back underground, and he refuses. And so they basically agree that they're gonna have it's sort of like the fiddle contest with the devil.
You have to play the best show we've ever seen.
Right. Well, they're gonna use the crowd as an applausometer, to see. Whoever rocks the
and they
best
have the applausometer. They have a box that says an applausometer, which is just classic 80s.
Because it's an 80s movie, right? Yeah. And so it's like, but we don't have any drummer. How are we going to do this? And so they're like, it's like, okay, the guitar has an idea for how they're going to save the day. But we're going to need to stop by the hospital real quick first. So they go back to the hospital, and it's just, they let the guitar loose in the morgue, and they hear all this slurping noises.
Yeah, it's very insane.
So the guitar is, like, good to go. They take him back to the graveyard, and they go to the grave of Spiff Spiffley's first ever drummer. Who died in some like similar rock and roll catastrophe, like he OD'd or something.
I think it was supposed to be Keith Moon, because it's like he was exploded. Was the like that's what I sort of got from it.
So so they've got like a stop motion animation, like half puppet, half stop motion, like Harryhausen animatronic, like skeleton drummer. And everyone's like, whoa, that's crazy. And then they have these guys dressed as skeletons. It's the lore is a little confusing. But
they put together a very big band in order to win his soul, I guess.
Yeah, but the thing is that their skeleton guy keeps falling apart because the skeleton guy keeps trying to do drugs. And he's got like a little heroin needle.
He's a fucking drug addict.
And even though he's just a skeleton, he doesn't have veins. He keeps trying to stick heroin into his arms.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
Well,
I guess it's a hypodermic from the hospital or something. I don't know. But like, they're falling apart, and they're playing this like battle of the bands, and each band is like sort of going back and forth, dueling banjos, kind of. And their drummer explodes because of
again. I think it was supposed to be Keith Moon or like esque.
I mean, you'll have to touch. I don't know enough about Keith Moon to.
An explosion went off by his head. It was cool. It went off by his head, and he was just a huge drug addict. Yeah, there's video of it.
So basically, their drummer's out, and Watching the spectacle, Tanya decides she's going to step up and
Yeah,
save
she
the
saves
day,
the day. Yeah.
and rocks out hard with them. And they all rock really hard, and
The applausometer is sort of wavering on, I guess, green and red. I don't know what that like
it's wavering on pretty good.
pretty
It's
good.
great.
Or
And
yeah.
Curtis has been using the voice of the guitar this whole time. He's been singing in harmony with it. But
Yeah.
at this point, he's like, he decides he's going to man up, and he's like, I'm sorry, Tanya, that I lied to you, but the truth is, I've always loved you. And here's
Yeah.
a song from the heart about that. And through the power of his love, they said with this new song that he's been writing, I guess since the beginning of the movie for her, when he's been
Yeah.
plunking on his guitar, it's basically his Patty Mayonnaise song.
Right. It's a Patty Mayonnaise song that's like, oh, it's not very good, but it's definitely heartfelt, and it works because it's
Yeah,
like,
it works because the crowd loves it, and they love
Yeah.
drama and a spectacle. And of course, the dead guys, the undead evil guys, hate it because it's love, and they hate that. shit.
no, the applausometer,
The power of love.
yeah,
And
they
so-
hate love.
And so they explode or turn to dust or wither away or something. And she kisses him, and he kisses her, and then the zombie guitar starts to sparkle and turn to dust. too.
Yeah, it comes off, it breaks off of his arm and falls to the ground and starts to sparkle.
It's like fading fast. Take me back to my grave. And so they, as it's like shimmering with ghostly magic or something, they put it back in the grave. It's like, all I ever wanted was to rock again. And you
Yeah.
did it for me.
Yeah,
Thank you. No, Spiff, thank you. You brought us together. And then Ricky's like, yeah, and you taught me that I want to be a doctor. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, Ricky. Anyway, we'll never forget about you. And I want to be a doctor. Ricky, shut the fuck up.
yeah.
And I'm Calendar.
No, dude, come on. Connor, we were about to finish the show, and we were about to end the movie, and you were talking about the end of the movie.
Dude,
You just
get
came
the
in and
fuck out of here. I can't.
you said you're good at timing, and you're terrible at it.
And that's why they call it Made Up Bunker Brothers, right?
What? What does it even mean?
I don't know. What's this show about? I wasn't listening.
Made up movie. You scheduled it.
I wasn't. Oh, God, I'm so drunk. I got into my daughter's liquor.
Matt, can you do something here, please? He doesn't listen to
I'm
me.
sorry. Buddy, we both love you, but we think you and your daughter both have a problem. You know what? Why don't we schedule an intervention for Calendar? Calendar, we're going to surprise you with an intervention. How does next Saturday work?
Actually, I think, guys, I might be free on Saturday.
Oh, okay, great. Finally, good.
This Saturday? Because I also have like a different intervention for my
You
daughter.
just said you were free.
I know, but I like to keep Saturdays open. It's kind of like my day off. So
You're
I
just
like-
making
All
up.
right, get the
you're
fuck
making-
out of here,
you're making up
calendar. Just get the
excuses.
fuck out of here.
You have nothing going on your calendar. I can see your calendar. There's nothing.
All right, so
on
that's
the calendar.
that's zombie guitar. That's basically what happens in that movie. That's Calendar. He's not coming back. If you loved Calendar or if you hated him, let us know at Made Up Movies Pod on Twitter. If you have an idea for a made up movie, why don't you shoot us a tweet with a log line, like a 1-sentence summary about what the movie is about, like a dog becomes Pope and then he
That's already a movie.
what?
Yeah, it's coming out. Jim.
How is Chris Pratt in it? Fuck.
Yeah, Bryan Cranston, Chris Pratt. It's gonna be good.
Bryan Cranston.
He plays the Pope.
I thought the dog was.
He plays the original Pope.
The new Pope is
Yeah.
the dog.
What would you rate Zombie Guitar out of how many guitars would you rate Zombie
11.
Guitar?
I mean, this one goes to 11. It was
goes
a
to
great
11.
movie.
It's probably the best movie
has,
we've watched by far.
It has everything. You know, I really like this one. What about you? What did you think about it?
Yeah, exactly. It goes to. I think I could have used less Ricky, but otherwise I really liked it.
I would go the other way with it. I would use
You wanted more Ricky. You know what? They should do like a
Joker,
Ricky like
more
sequel.
Calendar.
No, I don't think either of those three things are a thing that people want more of. But I guess
either of those three things.
Calendar,
okay.
Ricky, Joker. Nobody wants those.
Your medicine hair review, whatever you said earlier. Listen, if you want to submit a made up movies, go to at made up movies pod on Twitter at made up movies pod, and say what the title of the movie is. Just make one up. What the title of the movie is, and what the basic premise of it is, and then we'll use our amazing zombie guitar powers to watch that made-up movie and review it for you, because it totally really exists in our
because we're professional film critics, and that's what we do.
We're critics. Yeah. So thank you so much for listening. Please like and subscribe and give us 5 stars and all that good stuff. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your wife, tell your kids.
Put it on your calendar.
Coming.
Because every Wednesday.
Yes, put it on me, baby. Right here. I'm so
let's stop this before it gets out of hand.
Oh,
it's just so sad.
Stella!
All right, we'll see you next time.